You reread a simple text message 5 times. You enter a room quietly, hoping nobody notices. Later, you replay one awkward sentence for hours. You may call this shyness, but when fear controls where you go, what you say, and how you live, it becomes something more serious. Why can a harmless social moment feel like a real threat? And why does avoiding people bring relief today, yet make tomorrow harder? The book behind this episode explores stage fright, shyness, and social phobia. It also gives us useful English for understanding fear, confidence, and change. The first important idea is that not every uncomfortable social feeling is an illness. Most people feel nervous before a presentation, a job interview, or a first date. Their heart beats faster. Their mouth feels dry. Once the situation begins, the fear often becomes smaller. Social anxiety is a wider term. It includes ordinary nervousness, strong shyness, and more painful conditions. Social phobia, also called social anxiety disorder, is more severe. The fear may appear long before an event, stay during it, and continue afterward through shame and painful review. The key question is not, do I ever feel nervous? A better question is, how much does this fear limit my life? If you still attend the meeting, speak with difficulty, and recover afterward, that may be normal fear. If you repeatedly escape important situations, professional support may be needed. This distinction matters because labels can become cages. Saying, "I am socially awkward," describes a feeling. Saying, "I can never deal with people," turns that feeling into an identity. A clinical condition deserves care, but a popular label should not become an excuse to stop growing. Social fear often appears in several kinds of situations. The most familiar is performing under attention, such as giving a speech or answering questions in a team meeting. Even confident people may feel pressure when many eyes turn toward them and silence fills the room. Another difficult situation is informal conversation. A networking event may look relaxed, but it can feel exhausting. You hold a drink, meet unfamiliar people, and wonder what to say next. There is no script, no clear task, and no easy way to know whether the conversation is going well. A third challenge is expressing something personal. You may need to tell a partner what you truly need, disagree with your manager, or share an idea that matters to you. The fear is not only about speaking. It is about allowing another person to see your inner world. The most serious fear can appear during ordinary actions. Someone watches you sign a form, pay at a checkout, eat in public, or walk into a crowded room. Nothing dangerous is happening, yet your body reacts as if you are being tested and may fail. Behind these situations are usually a few deep fears. You may fear exposing a weakness. You may fear revealing something private. You may fear that others will notice an unusual movement, a red face, a shaking hand, or a voice that sounds nervous. The body then enters a threat response. Your face may become hot, your hands may sweat, your stomach may tighten. Some people speak too quickly and move without control. Others freeze, become silent, or feel unable to leave their chair. These reactions are not proof that you are weak. They are protective systems working at the wrong time. Human beings are highly sensitive to other people's attention. In earlier environments, being watched by a group could signal danger, rejection, or attack. Modern life creates a strange conflict. We need social contact for work, friendship, learning, and opportunity. Yet an old alarm system may treat attention as danger. The goal is not to remove every alarm. The goal is to teach the mind which situations are uncomfortable but safe. Here is where the problem becomes self-reinforcing. You avoid one party and immediately feel calmer. Your brain learns, leaving saved me. The next invitation feels even more dangerous. Avoidance means staying away from a feared situation, and it can slowly make fear stronger. Avoidance is not always obvious. You may attend a meeting but never make eye contact. You may stand near the door, check your phone, speak only to one familiar person, or leave before anyone can ask a question. Your body is present, but your attention is still escaping. Fear can push behavior toward two extremes. Some people become cold and distant because silence feels safer. Others become overly agreeable and try to please everyone. One builds a wall while the other disappears into other people's wishes. Both styles hide the same belief: it is unsafe to be myself. But avoidance is only the visible part. Under it sits a cognitive storm. Cognitive means connected with thinking. The storm includes fast thoughts such as, "Everyone is watching me," "They can see I am nervous," or "One mistake will ruin everything." These thoughts place the self at the center of every event. A coworker checks the time, and you assume your story is boring. Two guests leave early, and you decide the dinner failed. This is personalization, treating events as mainly about you without enough evidence. Selective attention adds another problem. You remember one frown but forget 5 friendly faces. You notice one awkward pause but ignore 20 normal minutes. The mind collects negative details, removes the positive ones, and then presents the result as the whole truth. Anxiety also encourages mind reading. You think, "She finds me boring," or "They noticed my hands." But these are assumptions, not facts. You cannot know another person's private thoughts, and a neutral expression can have many explanations that are unrelated to you. Finally, anxious thinking often becomes all or nothing. A conversation was perfect or terrible. You were confident or a complete failure. Strict rules make this worse. "I must never look nervous," or "I should always know what to say." Real social life allows mistakes, pauses, and mixed results. So what is confidence? It is not believing that you are always excellent. Confidence is a reasonably accurate view of your ability. Low self-esteem rates you too low. Arrogance protects you by rating you too high. Healthy confidence says, "I have strengths, limits, and room to learn." That kind of confidence creates freedom. You no longer need every conversation to prove your value. You can give an average answer, forget a name, or pause before speaking. You are not perfect, but you are not in danger. Accuracy is often calmer than positive thinking. Social fear can come from many sources. Temperament, family behavior, painful memories, long-term criticism, and social pressure may all play a role. A humiliating experience can become powerful, but no single cause explains every person, and quiet behavior alone does not mean someone has a disorder. Children learn social safety through experience. Patient adults can help them practice speaking, meeting trusted people, joining group activities, and recovering from mistakes without shame. Parents should not force quiet children to become entertainers. Gentle opportunities work better than criticism, ridicule, or constant pressure. Now we can make the ideas practical. For severe fear, panic, or major limits on daily life, self-help is not enough. A licensed mental health professional can evaluate the problem. Treatment may include psychotherapy, and medication decisions should be made with a qualified medical professional. A common psychological approach is cognitive behavioral therapy. Its basic idea is simple. An event happens. You give the event a meaning. That meaning affects your emotional and physical response. You cannot prevent every difficult event, but you can examine the meaning your mind creates. If this explanation is helping you recognize your own pattern, save this video. The next time you want to escape a social situation, return to this part and ask, "What happened? What did I assume, and what else might be true?" The first practical tool is specificity. Do not say, "Tomorrow will be terrible." Name the exact difficulty. At a coworker's birthday dinner, are you afraid of entering alone, joining a group, answering personal questions, or staying too long? Then prepare one small response for each problem. The second tool is gradual exposure. Exposure means carefully entering a feared but reasonably safe situation instead of always avoiding it. Start with a challenge that creates discomfort, not total panic. Repeat it until your mind learns that anxiety can rise and then fall. Practice needs to be regular. One conversation every 6 months will not teach your nervous system very much. A short chat with a cashier, one question during a meeting, or 10 minutes at a community event can become useful training when repeated consistently. During exposure, remove hidden escape behaviors slowly. Look at the other person instead of staring at your phone. Say one complete thought instead of only nodding. Stay long enough to notice that the feared disaster does not happen, or that you can manage it if something awkward occurs. There is another detail many people miss. Move attention outward. Self-consciousness means being painfully focused on how you appear. Instead, notice the room, the music, the other person's words, and the questions you honestly want to ask. Become curious, not self-inspecting. The third tool is social skill practice. Some people believe conversation should come naturally, but many useful behaviors can be learned. Ask an open question. Listen to the answer. Respond to one detail. Share a related sentence about yourself. Then allow a small pause. For example, someone says they recently moved to Denver. You could ask what surprised them about the city. After listening, you might share a short experience of moving or visiting somewhere new. This creates balance. An interview feels cold, while a long speech feels heavy. The fourth tool is a thought record. After a difficult interaction, write the situation, your automatic thought, the feeling, and the evidence. Then add a balanced view. Replace "I embarrassed myself" with "I lost my words briefly, then finished." This is not fake positivity. It is a fuller description. Be careful with endless review after an event. Reflection can teach you something, but rumination only repeats pain. Rumination means thinking about the same negative moment again and again without finding a useful next step. Give the review a time limit and end with one lesson. Change also needs the right emotional order. Awareness comes first. I notice that I expect rejection. Acceptance comes next. This pattern is painful, but it does not make me unworthy. Then comes practice. Without acceptance, every failed attempt becomes another reason to attack yourself. Expect imperfect attempts. You may attend the event and still leave early. You may ask a question and then feel awkward. That is not proof that the method failed. Learning to walk required many falls. Social courage also grows through trying, recovering, and trying again. Knowledge and skill can support this process. Reading, studying, and developing real interests give you more topics, better judgment, and stronger self-respect. But improvement should not become another form of avoidance. You do not need to become impressive before you are allowed to meet people. The deeper shift is to reduce constant self-focus. When every room becomes a stage and every person becomes a judge, social life feels exhausting. When you enter as a learner, a listener, or a helpful participant, attention moves from your image toward the shared moment. So return to our main question. Why does a safe social moment feel dangerous? Often, the body raises an old alarm, the mind adds a negative story, and avoidance confirms that story. The cycle feels powerful, but each part of it can be changed. Today, choose one small action. Send the message without reading it a sixth time. Ask one question in a meeting. Stay 10 more minutes at a gathering. Afterward, write 3 facts about what happened, not 3 judgments about who you are. Before we finish, notice the useful English from this episode. Anxiety is fear and tension about what may happen. Avoidance is staying away to escape discomfort. Exposure is gradual contact with a feared situation. An assumption is an idea accepted without enough evidence. Self-consciousness is painful attention to how you appear. Confidence is an accurate trust in your ability to respond. Acceptance means recognizing your present experience without attacking yourself. Rumination is repeated negative thinking that does not lead to action. These words describe a path from fear toward greater freedom. You do not need to become the most social person in the room. You need to stop treating every human moment as a final judgment. With support, honest thinking, and repeated practice, strangers can slowly become people instead of threats. Save this episode for your next difficult social moment, and subscribe for more book-based English and practical ideas. In the comments, share one small social action you want to try, and one English word from today that you want to remember.